Right, just setting up our live. This is a little different because we haven't used a tablet before. So you can support. I've never seen this message before. All right, for anyone watching on the playback, bear with us. This is our first uh, live demonstration, cooking demonstration, and it's going to be, I think, not the last, right? Not the last for sure. So as you guys are coming in, please tell us where you're coming from. I know this is probably going to be broadcast in different places. We're actually in Portugal right now. I'll be here for another week before I'm back in the States. But so welcome from Portugal. But whoever's tuning in and joining us, please let us know where you are watching from and send us greetings from whatever country, state you're in. All right. We got, and it's going to be a little hard to read. Florence, South Carolina. Awesome. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, let us know as you guys are coming in where you are viewing from. And so we could welcome you. We got someone from Washington State. Is that Kennewick? Yeah, I think it says Kennewick. All right. It's hard to read because this tablet is actually really far from me. It's probably can't tell. This is the first time we're using a tablet to do a live. I think it's just easier to do a demonstration with a tablet than a phone, but it makes it a little hard. I gotta reach over the table to read where you guys are from. Yeah, we're in Portugal right now. That's the plan. That's where God has us at the moment. Do I speak Portuguese? No. Working on it. Praying for the gift of tongues still. My wife is actually a little better with the Portuguese. She's well, not, I wouldn't say fluent, right? But
in understanding.
She's fluent in understanding. She can understand very well. So she's my translator wherever I go.
I don't know why I can't see.
Sure, I see that. But as you guys are coming in, you probably know what we're going to be doing here, right? We're going to be talking about, or showing, not talking, showing how to roast vegetables without oil. Okay, so we're going to be showing you a live demonstration on how to roast vegetables without oil. Anybody going to be following along? I know when I posted the live in some groups, people were mentioning that they wanted to follow along. So I think that would be a great idea. I'll go ahead and show you guys what we have on the table. So if you guys, decide you want to follow along last minute, I guess you could still do that. But hopefully you're prepared if you're planning on following along. We did post the ingredients we'll be using in the live description section. So what we have today here is some of our favorite root vegetables. All right, so we got Brussels sprouts, carrots, and sweet potato. All right. And anyone, again, who's planning on following along, I want to know what you guys are using if you're following along. What vegetables are you going to be roasting? If you're not following along right now, you can actually let us know real quick what you would like to roast as far as your favorite vegetables. I say root vegetables, but I guess it doesn't have to be root vegetables, but just whatever you feel like you can enjoy roasted. That is not meat, because if you know anything about Diabetes 180, we don't do the meat. But that being said, I'm wondering if anyone knows why we don't use oil for our recipes. So if you are curious about that, maybe if you're kind of new to the idea of no oil cooking, it's actually really popular. It's growing in as a result of all the science that's behind how harmful high fat diets can be to our health, and the fact that oil is the fattiest of all macronutrients. I mean, if you think about it, oil is pure fat, right? So when you're comparing oil to carbs and protein, there's 9 calories per 1 gram of fat versus 4 calories per 1 gram of carb or protein. So off the bat, when you're cooking with oil, you're going to have additional calories that could really be avoided once you learn that you can cook without oil, right?
Protein.
What did I say about protein?
Mm-hmm.
Protein and carbs. So protein and carbs have about 4 calories per gram.
Okay.
You know, I don't know if you knew that.
No.
Yeah. And then fat has 9 calories. So you're going to have, just off the bat, and using oil, a lot of fat. Do you know how many calories, Carme, are in 1 tablespoon of oil?
A lot, because I can't eat it.
120. Does that sound surprising? 120 calories in just 1 tablespoon of oil. Yep. So, you know, when you look at how much oil, if you cook with oil throughout the day, and a lot of foods, if you're eating out, already have oil in them. Everybody cooks with oil. So that's the first reason why we teach them to not cook with oil. I don't know if that's surprising for anybody. Let us know if that's news to you. If you're like, wow, really? I didn't know that. So let us know. Yeah, that is awful, right? So of course, there's a second reason that's more important, really. I know there's probably people who are watching who just want to lose weight, or you know, just cut back on some belly fat, maybe, you know. But there hopefully are people who are viewing who want to reverse their diabetes, right? And someone wrote here, and I think it's Paul. You can see it better. Actually, go ahead. Yeah. So how about you be my moderator so I don't miss any of these? Yeah. Read that. Yeah.
I thought about going to it.
Oh, so Paul says that's Paul, right?
That's family. I don't know. I can't.
Tammy, yeah, bring it a little closer. Sorry, guys, bear with us. The cameras, I should say, the devices are farther for our viewing texts as they come in. Penny, sorry, Penny, that is funny. Yes, oil is good for the joints. That's about me. Now, yeah. So actually, when you're trying to reverse diabetes, if that's your goal, right? If you're trying to come off medications, reduce medications, or just reverse the disease process as a whole, having oil in your diet makes it very hard to do that. The reason being is many studies have shown that saturated fat actually causes insulin resistance. The more fat you have in your overall diet, the harder it is for your insulin to work properly, which you've observed yourself, right? Mm-hmm. Day and night difference when you have fat in your diet and you're starting to eat carbs. So, Rosalie says she's wants to lose weight and wants to. Yes, that's right. Insulin resistance. That's the goal. And what we teach in diabetes 180, how to do it. And of course, Rosalie, we already know you're on the right path. Just continue, right? So that's if you guys have any questions as we go through this cooking demonstration, definitely chime in. We want to hear from you what your questions are, what your concerns are. The idea is to eliminate oil in your diet. Okay, eliminate oil in your diet. It's very easy to do, especially when you realize. I should say. I should ask you, Carmen, were you surprised when how easy it was to cook without oil?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very, very.
You probably thought like, what? I got eating oil. Like, how am I going to cook, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I just didn't think it would be the same, but yeah.
Do you miss oil or fatty? Yeah.
It's funny because the foods that I really loved that had oil in them was like Johnny cakes and the fried baked
goods,
and stuff that we have in Aruba. And I missed them in the beginning, but now that my body is accustomed of not eating oil, I should say, I can taste the oil in anything that I eat now, and it tastes horrible. Like the other night, Lewis was trying a pastry from Portugal, and I was like, "Let me try it too." I had to
spit it out. She wasted my pastry, you know. We'll just spit it out.
I had to spit that thing out because I was tasting it. It was just tasting like only
You could taste the
oil.
butter.
Whatever is
Whatever it was,
oily,
yeah.
fattening, I can taste it, and I don't like it. So
Mm.
it's not fun to eat out anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So, which is a good thing. I would save money because I can't eat anything on menus because of the oil.
Well, Dennis brings up a good point. Is there a mathematical formula as to how much oil translates to too much? You know, and then fried plantains, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I would like fried plantains anymore, but
You could still fry
but
plantains.
I have a recipe on how to get it looking like fried plantains without the oil. So I think probably next time we can do that because
Yeah,
the fried plantains was a big thing for me, but I just can't deal with the oil anymore.
Yeah.
So
You can still enjoy the things you used to fry. You
Yeah.
really can. All right, there's obviously a taste adjustment, but over time you realize that you don't even crave those. You actually start to have aversion to the oil and the fat that's in food, which is good. Now, to answer your question, Dennis, I'm glad you brought that up. I tend to forget that, but the easiest way to track your fat percentages is using calorie counting apps. You can do it just for a few days. The app that we have our clients use is Lose It. It's called Lose It, literally Lose It. You can find it in Play Store, iTunes Store, and I'd say use that for a week and
I
try.
would say about 2 weeks, 2 weeks and a half, because you really don't know how much fat you have in your diet until you really track it. And when I started tracking it, it took me like 2 weeks and a half to really get the hang of it, how much I can eat of stuff. And then, I got tired of tracking my food. So I just stopped eating all the fattening stuff like avocados.
Yeah.
I just took them out because I got tired of tracking. But tracking really keeps you on
On
track.
track, yeah. And well, you get to the point too that you kind of know.
Yeah, you know exactly.
You don't need to continue tracking because you know what's the fat content. And then at the end of the day, you have so much fat. So yeah, fat tracking is very easy. You just got to download apps and measure your food intake, even if it's just for a few days, so you can get an idea. The percentage-wise, mathematically, studies are very consistent that 15% or 30 grams of fat per day, 15% or less, or 30 grams of fat per day is how you want to reverse insulin resistance. 15% of your total calories, right? So if you're measuring that, that's your goal. 15% of total calorie intake. Someone Pammy asked if my husband wants to brown something. How about just cooking spray? I mean, just enough to coat the bottom. Well, I think with that question right there, we got to show you why it's not necessary. You can still get the browning effect, and that's what we're about to show. You still can get the browning effect that you're looking for in roasting, stir frying your food, of course.
And cooking sprays is not the best thing to use because you can't measure that. It comes out, and you don't know how much you're getting out of that can. So.
For those of you guys, also, if you don't like to do much of the brain work, just know that Diabetes 180 has already done it for you. So if you see on the screen here, there's a QR code for a meal plan, which while we're doing our meal prep, I'll show you how it looks, but it has all the recipes that are usually within 15%, some a little more, but mostly 15% or less fat, all the meals. And there's 290 plus recipes on there. And it gives you access to an already made meal plan for 30 days. I'll show you in a moment how that looks. All right, but let's go ahead and show you guys what we'll be stirring up. All right, so we got our Brussels sprouts, carrots, and sweet potato. I feel like we're missing potatoes too.
Oh, let me get it.
Yeah, okay. So potatoes. What you're also going to want is let's see, what should I go in order? I have a lot of stuff on the table. I'm just going to bring it in front of the camera. Parchment paper, right? So that's to make sure it doesn't stick and on top of your baking sheet. Okay. Ideally, you probably want to have, if you can, get a flat baking sheet. That means that's so that the heat can really be directed evenly. But we have one that's raised. It still works. So a flat baking sheet is preferable. A parchment paper that you're going to lay your vegetables on. So how do we cut the vegetables? It really depends. So if you're using like your more dense vegetables, like potatoes, carrots are very dense and hard. You probably want to cut it in about 2-inch cubes. About you don't want it too thick, right? So you want to cut it small. So we'll probably cut them to about within about 2-inch cubes. The carrots will probably cut it long though, right? So in a moment, Carmen's going to start cutting, and then I'll show you the app while she's cutting. Anyone who's following along, you can follow along. And then from there, there's another the seasoning. Yeah. So what we're also going to be doing, we're going to be using a honey mustard seasoning mixture sauce. Now, when you're roasting without oil, one thing that's important that we've noticed is moisture. Okay.
Yeah.
Without moisture, they dry out, they can burn, in the oven. You're like, man, that was a waste, right? And
Yeah.
we learned that a hard way. So moisture is important. So if you're using a sauce, it's a good idea to soy sauce or vegetable broth. Moisture is the key. That's all you need. And it will roast. It will brown in the oven. Surprise, surprise. It will brown without oil. If you're not using a sauce or mixture with your vegetables, you could also steam the vegetables, especially starchy vegetables. You could steam them. And we have an example at the end of our cooking demonstration of how it's going to look either way. If you're steaming them, we still want to flavor it, so you might still want to put some herbs, some soy sauce on the mixture, but moisture is what's going to keep it from drying up and being too dry and in the oven. And we're going to accomplish that right now with our sauce. So for our sauce, and if anyone wants to follow on making the sauce or mixture, balsamic vinegar and honey mustard, Dijon honey mustard.
Not honey mustard.
Not mustard, not honey mustard. Yeah, it's going to become honey mustard. So, I'm always wondering if I'm saying it right. Is it Dijon?
I don't know.
Dijon mustard and balsamic vinegar. All right. So that's going to be basically what we're going to be using sauce.
Balsamic vinegar.
Okay. And then honey, a little bit of honey, right? Now you might be asking, what diabetes? You're not supposed to be eating honey. What this guy is telling us to eat honey? We're diabetic. So number one, if you're eating again a low-fat diet, if you're keeping your body in a low-fat environment, you'll be surprised. Number one, that's the first thing you got to do. That's the first homework I'm going to give you. Start to decrease your fat percentage, right? To 15% or less. That's the first assignment, right? Once you've accomplished that, then you can start to increase your consumption of even root vegetables like these without spiking your blood sugar. We're going to do a video eventually where my wife goes through a whole day of eating high carb, high glycemic whole foods. Okay, that's the key, whole foods. And you'll see her sugars are perfect. And this can happen with all you guys who are diabetic if you do the homework assignment number one of lowering your fat percentage so that glucose could jump over the wall and get inside the cell. Think of fat as a wall, like a quarterback that's keeping the sugars blocked in the blood. Once you start to remove the quarterback, the sugars can exit the blood and go inside the cell. And simple things like even honey, in moderation, in a mixture like we're gonna make, not a concern. Okay. Obviously, don't be drizzling it all over your pancakes and stuff. No, but as a simple salsa ingredient, it wouldn't be a problem, especially in a low-fat environment. I like to talk a lot. We got to get to action. We got to get to work. All right. So, Carmen, you could start cutting.
You show these?
Oh yeah. The spices and herbs that we're using, they're in Portuguese. This is black pepper, just a little bit we're using there. Oregano. The recipe actually that we're following calls for sage, but we didn't have, so we're using oregano. And then this is rosemary, right? So those are the herbs we're using to bring some aromatic flavor. And then, am I missing anything else?
No.
It's really simple. Is that it? You got your salt. I think we didn't add salt for this one to taste. So we're doing more of a sweet than recipe here. So while Carmen's cutting, I want to go ahead and show you guys the Meal Garden app. So it's a way you can start with a no-brainer plan of low-fat meals. right? Okay. Okay. So yeah, let me know if you need anything. So I'm gonna grab this tablet here. We get a little informal. Um, again, this is the first time I've done a live with this tablet. So let's see. Hopefully it works out fine. So first thing I have to figure out is how to share my screen. Let's see. All right, and yeah, and as we're going forward, I'm still curious. Is anybody cooking along with us? I know there were some people who are. You don't have to, obviously. I know there were some people who said there were. If you have decided not to, that's fine. So if I can't switch the camera around, I might have to. Let's see. Yeah, so what I'm trying to do here is try to see if I can show you what the app looks like. And if I can't do that, let's see, I might have to, oh, here it is. All right, good, good. Here it is. Presentations. Let's see if we can do it like this. I think I might have figured it out. So bear with me. That's the problem of doing things new and different. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's gonna work. I really want to show you guys. But anyway, what you can do is basically if you use a QR code, and I'll show you guys on my phone how the app looks. I think that will work fine. So let me know if you could see this. It might be a little hard to see. You guys seeing that? Right? Let me know if you guys are seeing that. Just say, hey, yes, I see it. If you could see it good. Because my screen is actually quite small. Let me actually make it big. All right, so you guys can see it? Okay, yeah. So on the top, you'll see a list of basically how to get to know what the program is. Definitely join the Facebook group if you haven't already. So right there's a link to our Facebook group and other things about our program. As you scroll up in the Meal Garden app, you'll see a whole week of recipes. So these are 4 weeks of recipes. You just click on the week you want to start at, and you got a whole week of recipes, all low-fat, whole food, plant-based recipes. All right. So scrolling up some more here, you have the 290 plus recipes we have as a collection. So let's say you're not really into meal planning. You just want to find a recipe here or there. Then you could just click on this and you have access to over 200, almost 300 recipes that are low fat, whole food, plant-based, great for diabetes because the carbs that are in, even though it's high carb, they're whole complex carbs in a low fat environment, which again makes it so that your sugars are better than they ever were on a low carb, high fat diet. All right, so these are just several articles you can look through to get information on like how to cook without oil. So what you really want to look at is this tutorial. This tutorial will show you how to use this Meal Garden app. There's a whole lot of things you can do on this app. I mean, it's awesome. So I would say, before you dive in, jump to the tutorial button, and it's a video that walks you through everything you can do with the Meal Garden app. Okay, so if you haven't already, go ahead and scan the QR code on the bottom. And again, this is free. There's no charge at all. This is not something I'm selling. This is something to help the many people that we know suffering with diabetes and other chronic diseases. Because the low-fat, whole food, plant-based diet lifestyle is not just for diabetics. It's for everybody who wants to prevent chronic disease. So it's free, no strings attached. Just scan the QR code and enjoy. And if you need support or questions, of course, let us know. And so from there, as Carmi is cutting, I would also like to show you guys something here. This is I don't know if you guys know about calorie density, right? So calorie density is the idea of, basically how much calories are in a certain food item, a food product, for the volume that it fills your stomach, right? Yes, it is on the Facebook page. Okay, so if you want to join the Meal Garden app, join through, and you're in the Facebook group, then just look at the featured section. I think at the top, you'll be able to see. But yeah, this is a picture, a real good visual representation of calorie density. So I don't know if you guys can see this. So if you see here on depending on how I'm holding the camera, on the far right, I guess, you'll see oil. I don't know if you guys can see that relative to how much it fills your stomach. And it might be hard to see, but this is 500 calories of oil on the far right versus 500 calories of plant-based foods like potatoes, beans, whole grains, even on the far left. You can see 500 calories get add up very fast when you have oil in your diet. Meat and cheese are in the middle there. These foods are high in calories, but not as, but so I guess not filling. So what that means is before you're full with eating animal-based products, meat, dairy, eggs, cheese, and oil, your calories are going to add up very fast. And that's why it's so hard to lose weight, so hard to start seeing the scale drop go in the right direction when you're eating these foods. Once you start getting rid of the foods that are calorie dense, meaning they're high in calories, but they don't fill you up the way plant-based foods do, yeah, you'll see a big difference. So this is something you can Google, just calorie density, forks over knives article, just get you an idea of why we promote a whole food, plant-based diet that's low in fat, okay? Because oil is so rich in calories. Again, like we said earlier, just 1 tablespoon, 120 calories, right? So we're gonna learn how to eliminate that. And say again?
You cook with a lot more than a 1 tablespoon.
Yeah, usually use a lot more than that, right? I don't know how much oil you guys use in oil, how much oil you use. You don't really measure it, you just throw it in. Now, I don't know how many of you guys are vegan. I don't know, there might be a lot of people who are already vegetarian. And I know one thing I get from vegetarians, vegans, is they say, I'm eating healthy. I don't know why. My blood sugar's out of control. I've been on this vegan diet for so many years. My blood sugars are getting worse. This usually is the ingredient that's messing you up is oil, if not other fat sources of plant, because there's also high sources of plant fat. Avocados, for example, are very fatty. So if you're a vegetarian or vegan, then I'm actually curious, is anybody vegan or vegetarian in the group already? Or am I talking to some carnivores up in this building? That's okay if you are. That's all right. That's all right. And no judgment at all, but just curious if anyone is already on this path of plant-based. Yeah, we got some yeses coming up. Good. That's awesome. If you're not, that's fine. Again, you got the meal plan if you want to start trying to eat more vegetarian or vegan. And you don't have, what's nice about this recipe, and I'll stay tuned to the end, you're going to see how it turns out. So we're not just throwing it in the oven and saying goodbye. We're going to see how it turns out. You can still enjoy good tasting food. You don't have to sacrifice health for taste. That's what I love about this whole lifestyle. You could still enjoy good tasting food, right? So if you guys want to see how Carmen's going getting through so far, that's what she got in the bowl. All right. So once she's done chopping up, I'm gonna show you guys the dressing mixture. But I thought it'd be cool to do this really quick and show you what's in our cabinet. So our pantry. Sorry, let me say it right. So if you're new to being a more whole food based, Marlon Marlis, all right. Nice, thanks for joining us. Yes, I see Juliet, vegetarian trying to be vegan. You can do it. Absolutely. All right. I believe in you. So this is our pantry. You're going to eat a lot of beans. My wife likes to cook them whole, so these are all dried beans that she has here. All right. And there's so many varieties of people say, I don't like beans. Or I don't, you just haven't tried the right one. Try different, there's so many different class. And you guys like beans? What are your favorite beans? Let me know in the chat. What are your favorite beans? But yeah, we eat beans. Beans, I'd say, is like the base of of most of the recipes. It's a superfood. Did you know that? There's so many health benefits of beans. So, but yeah, I'm curious if I'm the only one here that likes beans. Garbanzo, pinto, let's go. I love it all. It's funny when I was young. So if for those who don't know me, I'm Haitian, Haitian American, and we eat a lot of beans, a lot of rice and beans. And as a kid, I couldn't stand it. Beans. I was like sick of it. So I'd be spitting it out, hiding it, in my cheek to go through it, spit it in the bathroom. I did some yeah, it's crazy because now I'm thinking back, like, man, all those beans I wasted. You know, you realize how good it is. My mom. I mean, obviously, I'm a little prejudiced, but my mom makes the best rice and beans. We got black garbanzo beans, black eyed peas. Yes, I love it, man. Whether it be in a soup or sauce or salad or along with grain rice, it's so versatile. Split peas. Yeah, so there we got a lot of beans, right? Then we got our spices. So a good collection of spices. I would read them off to you, but there are a lot there in Portuguese, and I can't read them. Right. So I have to get my wife to translate. But you're gonna have a lot of spices because in herbs and spices, if you don't have a pantry full of herb and spices, you're really missing out because herbs and spices are basically nature's medicine. Um, Supplements, vitamins, minerals, antioxidant rich. They're all very potent when it comes to preventing and also reversing chronic illnesses. Anyone know what the herb with the highest anti-inflammatory effect is? And I'm curious, everyone knows the most anti-inflammatory spice, I should say. There are many of the spices and herbs are anti-inflammatory, but there's one that's really high in its potency to be anti-inflammatory. I'm curious if anybody knows what that is. All right, so cloves is, but there's one that's more. There's one that's more. So we got going down here. Let's see, we got some more of our spices. We keep things pretty simple. This is actually, we try as much as possible not to eat things that are bagged or packaged. But I like to throw these in my oatmeal. They're basically dried fruit. I'm trying to find one that I like. So this is like, dried fruit. I like to throw these in my oatmeal. Makes really good like overnight oats if you want something safe, sweet. Yeah, cayenne, we got ginger. Someone said turmeric, and that if you said turmeric, it's that right there is actually, according to studies, the most anti-inflammatory spice. So there are, not to say the others aren't good at being at that, but turmeric is one of the biggest things. So if you don't have turmeric, start stocking it. Going down, we got our jars here. So I don't know if you guys are seeing that, but popcorn, definitely a good treat. We got brown rice. Is that brown rice, Carmen? Basmati brown rice. Yeast flakes. We got to get our B12. I'm not showing it right here. Walnuts. Typically, we use steel cut oatmeal, but we haven't been able to find any here. Raisins. My wife loves these pistachios, right? So anyway, that's enough of our pantry. So I think my wife probably has the veggies all chopped up. What we're gonna do now, then, let me show you the finished product here. Is that showing up good? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and actually that's a lot more than I thought.
Oh, take out some?
Yeah, because we're not gonna make a lot tonight, so take some of that out. I don't want to make too much sauce. So.
What's this for? Nothing?
Yeah, you could take that out. So what we're now gonna do is work on the sauce. All right. And so this is really nice. This is a really nice recipe. Actually, if you want to know where it came from, I gotta give credit to Mastering Diabetes. Mastering Diabetes practices the same things we teach: low fat, whole food, plant-based diet to reverse diabetes. And I got this sauce mixture idea from their website. I think it could work with anything, but it tends to work really well as a sauce mixture for actually, no, I'm gonna actually use this whole bowl. So dump that on the table.
Oh, you're using the bowl for
Yeah, for the sauce.
okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, then you just put in as much as you want.
Yeah, so then but we'll just fill it as needed, right? The idea is you want enough vegetables. You want the sauce to coat the vegetables, right? If we have too much vegetables for sauce, and I don't want to make too much sauce. I want to make a little bit. That's fine. Where's the tablespoon? So the first thing we're going to do is after we chopped our vegetables, I missed something. Preheat your oven. So 400 degrees is your oven is ideally being preheated right now and ready. Okay. So hopefully you guys can see. So as far as the can't say that right. Balsamic vinegar, 2 tablespoons, right? And to keep it simple, it's 2 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar, 2 tablespoons of honey, and 2 tablespoons of mustard. 2, 2, 2. Dijon mustard. That's what we're using, right? And let me get the spoon. Actually, can I get another spoon?
Is that spoon?
Yeah, so I can scrape it off.
Okay. Scrape it off and what?
The mustard. But actually, I could scoop the mustard onto the tablespoon.
Wait, you can't use that?
And that's for the slices.
Oh, okay.
All right, so this is a new can. So 2 tablespoons of honey. Oop, that came out real fast. That's a little bit more than 2 tablespoons. That's probably about good enough. All right.
That's 1 tablespoon,
Yeah, it was pretty heaping though. So, again, if you're viewing a little later, if you're coming in late, I should say, we talked about honey. You know, we know that usually you're told you can't eat honey if you're diabetic. Now, I would say that obviously if you're drizzling it on top of a sandwich or inside of tea, yeah, you might experience some problems. But if you're eating a low-fat diet, again, you're making sure that you're sensitive to insulin. You're becoming more tolerant to glucose, right? A little honey inside of a mixture like this isn't going to be a problem, right? So the next thing, let me keep that, is the mustard. We said 2 tablespoons of mustard.
Put it in.
Okay. Trying to be exact, obviously when you're cooking when you're showing a demonstration like this, you want to try to be as close as possible to the recipe, but yeah, another tablespoon. Yep, it's good. And then once you got the wet ingredients in the bowl, I don't know if you guys can see that there, what it looks like. Yep. We're going to go ahead and throw the spices in. This is really good, man. It tastes good. And I can't wait to show you guys the finished product, right? After we throw it in the oven, we're going to press the fast forward button and it'll be done. Yeah, I'll take that. I'll need a teaspoon. So as far as our spices go, just a teaspoon, just a little dash of each spice. So about a teaspoon of rosemary. About a teaspoon of oregano. Oregano is great. Oregano is great not just for anti-inflammatory effects, but also as an antiviral and antibiotic as well. Oregano can knock out a cold. Anytime we start getting the sniffles, we up our oregano and it's gone. All right. So I don't know if you guys like oregano, but yeah, this is a very, very potent herb that you always have in your kitchen. Right, along with the ones you guys mentioned, ginger, cayenne, turmeric, cloves, great. When it comes to black pepper, we don't use too much, just to give a little kick, maybe half a teaspoon, something like that. All right, so fun part, we just stir it up. I should say the fun part is when we coat the vegetables. Look. I don't know if you can see the stirring. Yeah. All right, so obviously once this live is done, you can watch this back if you want to follow along. I think I'm not sure if it broadcasts right away, but there'll be a playback option. You can watch it when it's done. Yeah. All right, so I think it's mixed up pretty good enough, pretty much. All right, so you want to bring the camera? Oh yeah, bring the camera a little closer. You can see the herbs swimming in there. Really good. So ready. So again, remember the key is to coat the vegetables well, okay, so that when it goes in the oven, it has some moisture. It doesn't matter if you're using soy sauce or vegetable broth, right? It doesn't really have to be this specific. There's no magic in this, right? It's just we're adding moisture and flavor with this this recipe, okay? So I hope that makes sense. Now we're going to put the vegetables in. I want to make sure I got my Brussels sprouts and some. This is a sweet potato and carrots. Potatoes. Let's see. Like potatoes? Anyone like potatoes? Man, I love me some potatoes. Man. There's never a bad day for potatoes. Yeah. Baked, mashed, with some stir fry. So that's another very versatile vegetable. I think that's probably a good amount.
You want the biggest one?
Yeah, maybe I'll take a bigger spoon. But then you want to basically throw in as much as you want to coat all the vegetables in your bowl. Okay, and what I'm also going to show you is we've actually baked roasted vegetables with just soy sauce, right? So if you want to just do with soy sauce and like a salty flavor, this is going to be more sweet. And I'll show you the after of that. Yeah, thanks. That'll be good. What we can do now? You want? I'm right. We show them the baking sheet. This could probably use some more veggies, but for demonstration purposes, we'll just leave this much. All right, so now you're gonna have a nice. Now what I would recommend doing once you got it all mixed up is probably letting it sit for, I don't know, maybe a few minutes, 5-6 minutes, letting that moisture kind of and the flavoring kind of settle into the vegetables.
10 minutes.
About 10 minutes, you would say? Yeah. To let it kind of soak in. All right. So we're going to fast forward through time and pretend like we let it sit. All right. So now what we're going to do is put parchment paper in a baking sheet. So just enough to cover it. I think that's good. That's probably even too much. But
Oh my.
it's hard doing sitting down. Go ahead.
Let me do it.
Sorry. Yeah, cut it.
You have to hold it.
Yeah, I'm not yet. Really good. So it's hard doing sitting down.
Yeah.
All right, so okay, so again, ideally you probably want a flat baking sheet. This is it's not flat, but it's gonna work. You're gonna see. You're gonna see. Stay tuned. All right, so now let's say we let it sit for about 10 minutes and go ahead and pour it right there onto the pan. You wanna go ahead and hover and
you should scrape it out with a spatula.
Don't want to waste any of this delicious sauce, so I'm gonna grab my spatula, make sure it's all coated. And once we got all the sauce in the pan, I'm gonna spread the vegetables out so they could be in one layer. Okay. Again, you don't need to have this mixture. You can, if you have vegetable broth at home, you can do this. You got something like soy sauce, you can do this. Even if you just steam the vegetables a little bit, that's another thing too, Carmen, right? You could steam the vegetables.
Yeah.
Let's say, you know, you don't have any, you want to do it really quick, just steam the vegetables, throw on, add some sage, some rosemary, some oregano, some herbs, and then put it in the oven, right? So as long as you've had moisture somehow inside the vegetables, you'll keep it from drying out in the oven, and you'll see the browning effect in a moment. So, oh yeah, let me go ahead and spread them out. So I want to make them to be like in a nice even layer. All right, that's good. This one's a little thick. I mean, this is sweet potato?
Yeah.
That's good. That'll work. That's fine. All right. A couple other things too is yeah, I guess if you could show that, we'll show them the oven. I guess in the States, well, you don't know where people are viewing. So the oven we have, it only heats on the top and not on the bottom. So what I had to do while it's in the oven is you could show it too. Show what I did is basically turn them, flip them a little bit, and stir them up so that it's heated evenly on both sides. If you have an oven where it has heat coming from both top and bottom, you may not have to do that. It'll still be a good idea once we place it in the oven to check on it every 5-10 minutes or so. But the cooking time varies based on what kind of vegetable you're using. So if you're using I guess vegetables like this, it might take about like 40 minutes or so, or but it really depends. If you're using more softer vegetables or it's medium to soft vegetables, it might cook in about 20 to 30 minutes, right? It really varies. So just keep your eye on it, so you don't burn the vegetables. If you start seeing it, what you're going to start seeing is a browning effect. When it starts to brown, it's ready. All right. If you want to make sure it's heated on both sides, stir it up. Turn the vegetables over a little bit and make sure it's browned on both sides, right? So, and you'll see that in a moment. So I guess, should I just pretend like I put it in the oven? I guess. All right, so I'm gonna pretend like I put it in the oven and I'm gonna fast forward through time and show you the finished product. That's what everyone wants to see, right? Oh, you want to know? Sorry. I want to pretend like I'm putting it in the oven.
Oh, okay.
All right, so here it is, guys. So let me show you the first one. Let me see. You might move the camera down. So this is the honey mustard one. Okay, so honey mustard, sorry. Yeah, honey mustard mixture. Yeah. And it's more of a sweet taste. Definitely it has a savory kick to it too. But it's yummy. You could see, I don't know if you can see with the lighting, it is browned. It's roasted, right?
It was looking a lot better too when it just came out.
Yeah. This has actually been sitting for a few hours. It's cold right now. This didn't literally come out the oven. Sorry, I'm not a magician like that. But if you want to bring it as close as possible, I know we should have a good camera. Go ahead and screenshot that and share it in our Facebook group. Somebody. Oh, someone said no nutritional yeast. That would have been a great idea. Yeah. And we have in our pantry, right? So yeah, good nutritional yeast would be great with this, man. That's what I'm saying. Do your own thing, But yeah, that's it. It is. It's yum. I've had a plate already. I might have to save this. It's kind of late over here. So all right. So let me show you guys another option. So we use dark soy sauce. So it looks dark. This is more of a salty option. So this is roasted. What we did with these vegetables, we steamed them first, right? And then actually, I steamed them first, then I put some soy sauce on there. And yep, same thing. Waited till they browned. I had to turn them over in the oven because our oven heats on top only. So I turned them a little bit in the oven so they could brown on both sides. When it's browned and soft, yes, it's ready to eat. So there you go. No oil. It can be done, and it can be delicious. And you can even you can feel the difference, right? When you're eating food without oil, right?
Yeah.
You can literally feel the difference.
Yeah. But you know, I must say that
Yeah.
you can't expect it to be like roasting with oil. It
Mhm.
definitely don't have the same texture, of
Mhm.
course, because the oil makes it like more crispy and stuff,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Yeah. And
But
I think it depends on how long you roasted it too.
yeah,
Because like some of them were to me were crunchy, depending on. But if you want to roast it a little longer, you get crunchier.
and the ones we left in the oven that got burnt, they
Yeah,
were very
they're crunchy. Yeah, we burnt them before. So and then what's crazy is even when it's burnt, it tastes good.
Oh yeah, burnt ones is good.
But that's the finished product there. You know, you got your honey mustard, roasted vegetables. You got your soy sauce, salty flavor vegetables, and you're ready to eat your no oil whole food plant-based meal. So you guys, if you're not already in the group, it's called Diabetes 180. Diabetes 180. If you want to join the group, all right. Yes, Sarah, thank you. I really appreciate that, Perry. Yeah. And invite other people to the group. If you're already a member in the group of Diabetes 180, if you're not, then search Facebook for Diabetes 180. It's that simple. I think I'm the only one with that name. Diabetes 180 Facebook group. Okay. And then, of course, if you haven't already taken the advantage of our QR code, it might be a little hard because if you're watching on your phone, grab someone else's phone and use a QR code and start enjoying the meal plan. We're here to support you guys, right? This program was created to help people like my wife to come off medications using nature as food, using what God intended for us to heal from the food that we eat day to day. It is possible. We've been doing it with our clients, patients that I have as a physician assistant. I've experienced the same changes of diabetes reversal and coming off many medications with this low-fat, whole food, plant-based approach. I'd be wrong to not plug in an opportunity for you to receive free coaching. I'm sorry, free coaching consult. The coaching is not free. I would love for it to be free, but the consultation is free if you want to find out about our three-step method to diabetes reversal. Definitely want to join the group and we'll let you know how. Okay. So that's it. That's all we got for you. Is it too late to eat this? No,
I'm hungry.
we're about to eat, y'all. All right. So thank you again. Hope you enjoyed it. And if you weren't following along, make it yourself and let us know in the group how it came out. Share your pictures. All right. See you guys in 2 weeks. That's how often we have lives. See you in the next one.
Bye.